Alright, here we go. Getting all plugged in here. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I'm Cloud Hudson, your meteorologist for the evening, and I am going to bring you today's top weather stories. So let's just go ahead and get into it. First of all, we've got a continued eruption out of Semeru volcano in East Java, Indonesia. Dukono and Fuego. Mount Fuego continues to erupt down in Central America. Hey, Guatemala. Oh, excuse me. It's been a sleepy day here today. And unable to detect in Sabancaya. Let's take a look at the Reykjanes Peninsula update. So this is the latest lava tongue. The orange here is the latest lava flow. And red is where this is at 1:55 on the 17th, and this was at 14:56 on the 17th. So the red depicts the advancing of lava beyond this big initial spread. You can see it was mostly two fissure system. This isn't the one that has the fissures drawn on there, but they're roughly right here where the February and December fissures also were. Let's see. Fortunately, the prevailing winds have been mostly offshore, so the volcanic gases have been able to blow away from civilization. This is the lava tongue that they are worried about approaching this road right here. This one right here, I think this is what's really in danger of closing off this access road to Grindavik. But fortunately, it seems that it hasn't quite made it there yet. Let's actually go to the Icelandic Meteorological Office. All right. Uncertainty phase has been set in the northern West Fjords. So they've got orange weather alert up there. As you can see, the earthquakes have slowed down significantly from the time of the original volcanic eruption. We are looking at, here's a great picture of overnight imagery of that lava just really close to the town. You can see that the berms are working. Otherwise, this lava would have flowed straight through the town into the harbor. And fortunately, the berms they built around the town are working to divert it in this direction. So that's a good thing. We are in an updated hazard map where zone 3 is where the bulk of, and this shows you the new lava flow as well as where the actual fissures are. These little dotted line here is the fissures. And the zones 1, 6, and 4 are the ones where we are currently looking for more lava flow to be happening. But this zone 3 is obviously the most dangerous part. Zone 1 includes the Blue Lagoon Hot Springs Resort, as well as the why can't I think of the name for it? The Svartsengi power plant. Yeah. And so those areas had to be evacuated, but fortunately, the berms seem to be keeping the lava out of those areas as well. Let's see. Not much else to update with. Yeah, okay, so I think the only change in the new hazard map is that Zone 5 has been downgraded to just a significant risk or considerable risk rather than a high risk. So yeah, this has been a really exciting new eruption for everybody involved in this world. Thankfully, I think that the damages have been to a minimum. Let's take a look at what their orange alert means. Kind of northeasterly blizzard. All right, so they are still experiencing blizzard conditions in this quadrant of Iceland. Let's see. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and look at our earthquakes so that we can make it back up to our terrestrial weather. You'll have to excuse me with all the yawning. I am working on a lot of stuff right now. So there's been pretty sleepy guy today. Okay, let's go from 17th to today. And we're going to go for all magnitudes, all depths, all data sources. Sorry, I don't have Earthquake 3D on today. Took me a while to get started on this broadcast, so I wanted to just jump in here instead of getting all my programs up. Okay, so looks like we've got another Gulf of Aden earthquake. This would be a 5.2 at 10 kilometers depth. There's another one at the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and 3 dropped off on this little waveform of a plate boundary surrounding the subcontinent of India. Let's see, we've got 4.1, 4.9, and a 4, all at 10 kilometers depth. This one was at 191. So this one erupted out of the ground. We have an extreme deep quake off the coast of Japan. That's a magnitude 4 all the way down there at 502 kilometers depth. And the next ones up there were only in the 50-kilometer range. So that's a pretty significant depth to be active right here. I mean, because usually you only see the really deep quakes coming out of the Fiji Islands region here, which we still are seeing that 4.4 at 553 kilometers depth. Then the next one up is shallow quake over here in Papua New Guinea at or in the Bismarck Sea, I'm sorry, and a few here in the Philippines. We're also seeing continued earthquake activity near Bismani, Russia Peninsula, the Mount Kamchatka region. Also one here on, is this Rat Island? No, this is Fox Island, Aleutian Islands. Continued momentum into Alaska. And we had a pretty deep 3.89 quake here in the higher Sierras. I think that is in the Juan de Fuca fracture zone, maybe. Got more in Idaho and Southern California. There's also one here in, is this Nebraska? Yeah, in Nebraska, we had a 2.5 at a pretty shallow 2.5. We also had a 2.5 here in Oklahoma, and then another one here in the New Madrid seismic zone in Missouri. So, no shockers there, really. northern Peru had a quake, and we also had some reported here in the Nicaraguan coast. But other than that, pretty quiet day for earthquakes. Now let's take a look at let's just do Zoom Earth. Take a look at our live weather feed. Fortunately, we've avoided much of the severe weather that we had all weekend. And pretty calm, if not very cold here in the United States. Um, Let me show you, because I mean, this is all got to be snow. Let's see, wildfire still indicated near Tulsa. Interesting. All right, and I can see where Iceland would be having some issues there. Let's take a look at, well, maybe it'll load here. Maybe we'll load in a second. Let's take a look at temperature instead. Sometimes that's easier for it to load than satellite. Yeah, so you see this big cold pool of air spilling down into the eastern half of the United States. The western half has already been having some cold temperatures at the higher elevations, but looking at what I think could be our last good cold push of the winter season before we move into spring. Could there be blizzards possible? Yeah, I think there could very well be one last big snowmaker to come through the United States. So keep an eye out for that. Here's that storm off the coast of Iceland that was causing weather alerts. Got a pretty good cool down for most of the Eurasian continent as well. Up here in the Himalayas and in Russia, as well as through Western or Central Europe, really. And the mountainous regions like in Turkey and in Switzerland and northern Italy, we're also seeing those freezing temperatures come back. I'm sure that they would like some of that freezing temperature here in Cambodia, Bangladesh, Vietnam region, because they are looking at significant wildfires across that area. We've also got two little tropical storms here off the northern coast of Australia. We've got Megan and an unnamed tropical low. But still staying pretty warm. It's almost the fall equinox in Australia, so things should start to cool off there in a little bit. And you do see the tight rotation of cold air around the South Pole start to creep up, loosen up, and creep into the more mid latitudes. As you can see here in the northern hemisphere, we still have a lot of cold air spilling well into our mid latitudes and tropics. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a different page. Let's take a look at the SPC composite map. Yeah, pretty clear for the entire country. Let's take a look at the temperatures. Yeah, we're getting into freezing in the 30s, all from the higher plains down into the southern Appalachian regions, into parts of the deep south, and all the way back up into the northeast. So this big bowling ball of cold air is definitely doing what we expected. Now let's go up and out and take a look at the solar weather. Yesterday we did see a little bit of an increase in, yeah, we haven't seen much today at all. We did see this mass ejection on the 17th with a bit of an Earth-directed component, I believe. There we go. Yeah, it's from a filament launch, I believe. So there was a little bit of a partial halo effect, and some of that will be Earth directed. So we can expect we can expect elevated solar conditions uh, throughout today. Um, let's see if this one. Ooh, beautiful. Let's take a look at what the real-time solar activity is. All right, and look at that giant coronal hole about to rotate into Earth view. We did just lose a lot of different sunspot regions, but we see our familiar old buddy, the artist formerly known as 3590, is here rotating back into Earth view as 3614. Now, I think it's only in a beta gamma configuration, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Oh, no, it's in a beta configuration, and 3615 is in the beta gamma configuration. But here, right in front of it, we see this big coronal hole, and that will push some fast solar winds our way. So I believe anything charging up in the radiation belts around the Earth should get a little bit of a nudge from that coronal hole. And you still see our elevated proton levels struggling to make it back down to normal low levels because of the continued coronal mass ejections we've had. Let's see our solar flares. Looks like we did have at least one M6.7. Yeah, okay. So today we had two different M class flares. We had an M6.7 at 1900 UTC time. Then another one, and that was only a few hours ago. And we also saw one earlier today at like 3:30 UTC. We saw, the 16th we saw two M class flares, but the 17th we were pretty quiet until we've gotten this little solar flare, these two solar flares, and this one actually went into R2 levels of radio storm. So I bet that we saw a little bit of increased radio blackout activity. Let's go now to look at the video of that. See these snap, crackle, and pop. Do I want to do 93, or I think I want to see 304 because this one will show our plasma filament launches. But coronal mass eject. Okay, let's do it on 211 first to see any coronal mass ejections, solar flares spark up. Yeah, something there. That pot is boiling. There's a big one. Looks like that would be pretty much to the south of us, but you see a lot of little crackles, a lot of little flaring happening. And then right behind that flaring, we got this big fast solar wind maker of the coronal hole. So that should be pushing everything that happens towards us. Let's see that filament launch in better resolution here. Watch this big old guy. Bursts open, swings out like double doors, like a Western saloon. Go in. See a lot of other filaments here on the northern hemisphere of the sun, and wanting to destabilize, form into little ropes and launch off. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that area as we go on. Let's do this one. All right. Wow. Oh, yeah, that was a good ripple effect there. Watching a lot of different cracklings. This looks like a little ropey filament. This is also spinning itself up. And then we're getting these good, big, bright sunspot regions coming in behind the new coronal hole. That should ramp up our solar activity for this week. We're getting out of the lull. We're getting a little more active. Our KP index could be elevated later in the week. Our hemispheric power is already elevated. But that was from the storm that started earlier today and we've really fallen off overnight here. Density continues to be highly variable, plasma density, but the solar wind remains pretty consistently in the 375 kilometers per second region, which is still pretty high. The interplanetary magnetic field, however, is showing a lot of variability, but dipping down into those lower nanotesla regions right now, but has been in the higher end throughout the day today. And most of this has been in a southward, which that it'll couple well with our Earth's magnetic field, meaning a good chance of aurora for anybody in these ovals right now. So Reykjavik might have some. That would be really cool to see if there was if there were aurora over the active volcanic eruption. That would be really neat to see. Let's go now and look at our planetary weather. Okay, and we've got our moon in Cancer. It's also a moon day, and it's a Mercury hour. If I'd broadcast longer, I would have gone into a moon day, moon hour, but we're not going to do that here today. This is just a little quick one while I focus on some other projects. And guys, I'll get back to making this my number one in about a week, but I've got a tech week going on right now to present some really cool sacred geometry in a show. So let's see. We are now out of the orb of squaring Mars and Uranus, though Jupiter does approach Uranus with greater fervor and faster intent than ever before. This long duration of Jupiter in Taurus is culminating in this big conjunction on April 20th of this year. So we are officially moving right along with that conjunction. We've also got that roughly sextile to where Saturn in Pisces is about to be met by Venus in Pisces. So we're going to really get some concrete, real, tangible manifestation of our ethereal creativity. And I really think of this as like putting our technology where our beauty and thoughts and imaginal dreams are. The sun is just past its conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. It is headed towards Aries, where Mercury waits while hanging out with the North Node and Chiron to really preparing the way, setting the table for where we are about to have a full moon eclipse, lunar eclipse in Aries and Libra. So it's only a few days away when this moon swings on over to Libra. The moon right now is roughly squaring Mercury and that area where the eclipse is about to happen. Just as we've got Well, it's making a nice little grand sextile if you include the aspect to Black Moon Lilith. But other than that, I mean, making a pretty nice geometry to the sun and really roughly in the 10-degree orb of 3 sextiles between Capricorn, well, really Capricorn Aquarius cusp where Pluto is, uh, Neptune in Pisces and the Sun in Pisces, and the Uranus in Taurus and the uh, Moon in Cancer. So we've got some really easy aspects right now, other than, you know, I don't know, not easy, challenging, but flowing, I would say. So the challenges certainly are flowing. But this is a manifestation time, a manifestation energy. I think we are really birthing a new springtime world into being. And hey, there is literally new rock being birthed right now. So that is pretty hopeful in my opinion. So if you're just joining us, welcome. I'm doing a kind of concatenated version of the show today, because I am working on a show for the Asheville Fringe Festival, and that is taking a lot of my time this week. So I'm just not hurrying through, but you know, quickly appreciating our heavily water influenced chart right now. Very water. We've got 5 planets in a water sign. We're about to have our eclipse season in Aries and Libra. And Mercury currently there setting the table. So whatever comes up in our thoughts, actions, communications, travel right now is probably going to be a theme for the eclipse season. Whatever's coming up in the mercurial realm for you today is the area of your life that the eclipse is about to take place in. So let's see. Did I want to do anything else on this page? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and move to, I'm just going to do a poll from the liminal space deck today. Of course, this is the one that has the ocean jasper with it. Really pretty. Looks like Jupiter, I think. I think it's really nice to have Jupiter sextiling Saturn and Venus in Pisces right now. I think that's kind of taking the edge off of the potential brutality of Saturn and making it feel more productive and less like a burden. But definitely physically manifesting things. All right. Today we have pulled one that I think we've pulled on this stream before. That is Close the Portal. Close the portal. And it shows a candle burning out. Extinguish the flame. Close the circle. Put away the cards. Even an undesirable outcome is preferable to remaining in suspended animation. Continuing to leave matters unresolved will result in energy leaks. Set a boundary. So maybe we can be setting beautiful boundaries right now. That could be also a manifestation of the impending Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So That's where I'm going to leave y'all today. Thank you again for your continued support of the channel. If you want to make a donation, remember that links to that are in the bio. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening. Bye.